Good day, everyone. We meet again. I hope everyone has been having a very good day. Before I start, I want to thank those who have been engaging me, the comments, and also those who have been supporting the work. And today, get straight away to business. So today we'll be looking at the Russian and Hungary nuclear deal in terms of nuclear reactors and nuclear power plants, where the Russian government has been contracted to build a nuclear plant in Hungary. And we'll also be looking at other interesting things that have been occurring in Europe in terms of the war between Russia and Ukraine, the division between the European Parliament and some of these countries that feel that an embargo on Russian oil will really hurt them. So we start with Hungary has decided now to activate the contract between the Hungarian government and the Russian government, where the Russian government will build a nuclear power plant in Hungary. Hungary already has an existing nuclear power plant, but the plant was built 40 years ago when Hungary was under the Soviets. It has been existing till today. It has been supplying 40% of Hungary's electricity. So, in light with the current energy crisis in Europe, there seems that the dream of Europe becoming uh, nuclear free in terms of energy easily fading away. As you have seen that Germany has now stopped its process of switching off its nuclear plants. France has one of the largest nuclear facilities in Europe. You can see Hungary now has also entered the fray, and because Hungary is very vulnerable to the change in energy, because when you look at Hungary, it's a landlocked country. Most of its energy, especially oil and gas, comes from Russia. And so, to avoid this issue, because we must remember that the European Union had put a timeline and a deadline that by the end of the year, most European countries should have 90% reduce their dependence on Russian oil. And one of the countries that was objecting this move was Hungary, because Hungary and these other landlocked countries, Bulgaria and the other countries felt that a move where to embargo or a price cap on Russian oil would really affect them because they are solely dependent on Russian oil, especially these former Soviet states. Because when you look at the pipelines that these countries depend on of coming from the USSR, and most of them pass through these countries. So that dependency has never gone away. And you can also see Hungary is still depending on a nuclear plant that was built 40 years ago. So this deal comes at the right time. The deal was negotiated in 2014, but they've decided to activate it now. And the plan is to have the nuclear facility ready by 2030. And when you look at how things are going in Europe, you can easily see that there's a great division. You know, Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, is seen as a very close friend of Putin. So, and you can see that he has been opposing or pulling the other way when it comes to a consensus in how the European Union should tackle Russia. When the European Union refused gas for rubles, we remember the first president to say that they were willing to pay gas for rubles was Orban immediately after he was re-elected, because he said that his country really need the gas. So when you look at this deal, you can see that Hungary right now it doesn't have money because of the election they've just come out of, which costed the economy heavily. The government is operating on a $7 billion deficit. So the Russian government has decided to fund the project. The project will cost $12 billion. The Russian government would remove $10 billion. the government of Hungary will remove $2.4 billion, which will come to 12.4, and then the loan will be repaid in 21 years, where the nuclear facility will be handed over to the Russian government. And when you look at how now Putin is operating, it seems that he's discovered that when you look at the sanction, only Russian oil has been sanctioned in Europe. Russian nuclear energy sector, the nuclear company Rosatom, has not been sanctioned. Uh, so he sees that his next phase is probably to try and make money out of nuclear facilities, because you can see they are building one in Hungary. Currently, they are building one in Turkey, and they're about to start one in Egypt. So it seems that the Russian nuclear energy sector has started becoming very vibrant. So when you look at a country like Hungary, uh, the president and Orban and Putin seem to have a very close friendship. Hungary is a very nationalistic country, a very reserved country, and it seems that Orban and Putin share the same ideals of how their country should run. And they also feel like the European Union is encroaching, especially a person like Orban. He feels that the European is becoming a super government, which is imposing its will on other small countries. That's why there's been that push and pull. And I feel like most people in Brussels, they are not welcoming of Orban. They don't see him as a good person, you know. And you know that Orban has issues with also George Soros. George Soros is a very good friend of the European Union, uh, because of their view of in their philosophy in life and how they view governments. Orban is seen as a bit authoritarian, and George Soros sees himself as a democratic person. So, the European Union, and the European Union cannot work as one if some other countries are pulling it down, and also Putin is taking advantage to exploit the situation vehemently, because it knows if Europe is not together, it's good for him. Uh, and when you look at a country like Hungary, you start to realize that uh, it's more not about Europe, it's more about the nationalistic element, the people inside the country, the population. This lead, the Orban is just acting to gain support locally. Probably doesn't care about what the outside people think. And that's why he probably is behaving that, because if you look at the politics inside the country, you know, people are afraid of losing gas and oil, and the economy going down, especially now when the economy is also not doing good. So when you look at these things, you start to realize that probably Orban is being pushed by the internal politics rather than the external politics. Even when the European Union wanted to sanction the Orthodox leader of the Russian Church, uh, Hungary was not up for it. Hungary has only condemned the Russian invasion, but has refused to supply arms. It has been against the supply of arms. It has been encouraging America and Russia to sit down and negotiate, because it sees this war as disastrous. And it sees, he's even been hard saying that the sanctions have not worked. They are killing Europe. They are backfiring on them. And so we just wait and see. But at the moment, it seems that Putin is not going down that easily. The other day, some few months ago, we saw a country like Finland cancelled its nuclear plant deal with Russia, where Rosatom was supposed to construct a nuclear plant in Finland, but immediately the war started, and Finland accession to NATO, the deal was cancelled. But how the things are happening now in Europe, it's a bit tricky, because even today we saw the European Central Bank has increased the interest rate to 0.75, and this now will hurt even the European consumer even more, the economies even more, especially countries that are in debt like Italy. I did a piece on how the fact that the dollar is strengthening, it's going to affect the euro negatively, because the more the dollar becomes strong, it's going to push the European Union, especially the European Bank, Central Bank, to increase interest rate for the euro, so as to ensure that the euro can compete fairly in the market with the dollar, because the dollar has been rising, and the European Union has been avoiding to increase the interest rate. But how it looks, the eternal option, because its currency is devaluing and inflation was rising. So you can find that piece on the channel, explaining why a strong dollar is not that good, especially in Europe. Countries like Italy, which are struggling in debt, Greece, they'll fall into debt even more because now the interest rates have gone up. And we'll just see how it goes. And probably with all these politics of price cap and Putin now trying to shut the gas during the winter, we'll try and see if Europe will bend. And as I see, if Europe can survive this time, when there's a full assault on its energy sector, in terms of Russia cutting off, I think it can tackle any situation. Till now, till this winter, I think it's hardest and most antagonizing time in Europe. And I think that if their leaders are smart, they'll pull through. Because at the point that we are in, I feel like this is only Putin's last card. This is the card that has been holding on the energy sector. That's why he's been very reluctant to react on the European countries. But we'll wait and see, because at the end of the day, I feel that if Europe can come together, they can form a plan. If their leaders are really out to help their people, they can help them, and they can work together. And that's why you can see that the Iranian nuclear deal is being hurried. It's even the Europeans who are pushing for it, because they need Iranian oil on the market so that they can start preparing oil for winter. So the deal will ensure that sanctions are lifted for Iran, and Iranian oil is back on the market. And I think most of the oil will go to Europe. So we just wait and see and how it goes. Thank you guys. See you again. Cheers.